All right, one final push for our Easter episode.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about the Easter Bilby. So, Australia celebrates the Easter Bilby as opposed to the Easter Bunny because rabbits are an invasive species to Australia. You know how everything in Australia is trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Rabbits are trying to kill Australia. This kind of started in 1788 when the first fleet, English settlers from England, went to Australia to settle there. We're definitely going to do an episode on what is the first fleet because that story gets a little crazy, but the settlers are from England to Australia. They brought some rabbits, but that was fine.
Yeah.
Until Thomas Austin in 1859 decided to let some of his loose to hunt for sport.
And rabbits reproduce incredibly fast.
Crazy. I'm trying to remember the articles. I was reading a bunch of this stuff and I was just trying to remember it. But that was 1859. Thomas Austin let some rabbits loose so he could hunt them for sport. Two different articles had two different numbers of rabbits that he let loose. It was either 13 or 24 rabbits that he let loose in that space. Then they started reproducing. And by within just a handful of years, I think it was 9 years, there was 14,000 rabbits that were eliminated. They were hunted. 14,000 were hunted. Still didn't know the actual number by that time. And then in the 1940s, there were 500 million. So in less than 100 years, it went from 14,000 rabbits to 500 million rabbits. We've been talking about the rabbits a lot, but the rabbits have been, and they continue to do so, destroy the habitats of other animals, including the bilby, which looks a little like a rabbit. So those guys probably could have hunted the bilbies if they really wanted to, and then we wouldn't have this major problem of rabbits. Then in the 1950s, the scientists found that the rabbits had been suffering from, or various rabbits suffer from the disease, myxomatosis, I think is what it was called. And so the scientists decided to use that as a weapon against the rabbits that have invaded. And they started manually giving them this disease instead of waiting for the disease to do its thing. And then by that time there was 600 million. They eradicated 500 million. So there's only 100 million rabbits left. But in 1968, they were down to 1968 is important. It was down to 150 million, 100 million rabbits, give or take. But the Easter Bilby had been put on the endangered list because there was only thousands of them left, as opposed to millions of bunnies. So in 1968, a young girl named Rose Marie Dusting wrote a short story, she was 9 at the time, about Billy the Easter Bilby. So that it would show that, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, make aware that the Easter Bilby is becoming, not the Easter Bilby, the Bilbies are becoming endangered. And that's one of the earliest stories that was about the Easter Bilby. And from there, Australia started to adopt the Easter Bilby as opposed to the Easter Bunny. Why would we celebrate the Easter Bunny, who's destroying everything here, when we could celebrate a creature that's here, that's endangered? So from there, 11 years after she wrote the short story, it was actually published. And now Australia celebrates the Easter Bilby. There's Easter Bilby chocolates, the whole thing. You know, all the Easter Bunny things that we do in America, they have the same thing in Australia. Fascinating, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's it, I think.